Welcome back to KvltDeFi, everyone. This is the channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations in tech, in decentralized finance. I used to say more specifically on PUSDchain, and even more specifically in the Dev Jacob ecosystem on PUSDchain, but that is kind of changing a little bit because we got some massive news yesterday. So not only are we doing MAFIA on PUSDchain and on Binance Smart Chain, or the BNB chain as it's called now, but we are also branching out to Solana and to Base Chain, right? This is absolutely huge news. And really, the thinking is, Jacob's thinking about this really is that, look, we're building something which is so absolutely incredible that it makes sense for everybody to see it, right? I totally agree with that. I mean, look, he's the man with the plan. This is a game that's going to go on for, like he said previously on some of his previous streams, this is something which might go on for, 10, 20 years, right? So as many eyeballs as possible, And one of the things which I think is really cool are the charts, right? The charts. We'll get to the charts in a few minutes. We do have a guest that's going to be joining us today. He is not around at the moment, but he will be back shortly. So while he's doing that, let's jump into the chat here. Who have we got? So we've got Francisco. I'm ready. That was sent an hour ago. So thanks very much. I hope you're still here. Warren Singer says, great content. Keep it going. Let's fucking go. BB Mafia, Pulse Mafia, gang. Yes. And soon we'll be able to add Soul Mafia and probably Base Mafia, right? This thing is going absolutely bonkers, right? It's going absolutely bonkers. We got Possession Nation in the house. Bob, is that? Yes, Bob. Check your DMs, Bob, on Telegram. Hello, Mafia. Lots going on. Yes, there is. Ryan M says, morning all. Morning for you. It is midnight for me, and we're just getting started. We've got hello, Ryan. Hey, Archie's in the house. Hey, Archie, how you doing? And yes, Bob confirms Archie is in the house. He is in the house. Yeah. So, wow. We've. I think the last week has been. Sorry, I am still sick. I'm going to try and not cough all over the place, but if I do, I'll probably just have to mute myself. Yeah, what a week of updates it's been, right? I was actually supposed to be having a couple of streams towards the end of this week with other people, like the normal bringing on new people. But I was so sick during the week that I wasn't sure I'd be able. For today. But with the news that came out yesterday, I thought, just bite the bullet and just do it. I am coughing like an absolute crazy person. Someone said. Someone recommended in the Telegram today that I should take some pills and all this sort of stuff. And I've taken so many pills and supplements the last few days. I'm surprised that I'm not walking down the street rattling. But yeah, wow. So excuse me there. Right, we have some people that are going to join us today because obviously I'm conscious of the fact that I have to talk all the time when I do these alone, and my throat is a bit scratchy. So what I will do actually is first I will bring up this guy.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm actually a little scratchy myself, but I can almost always talk, so it'll be okay. When it comes to I always
cool. And we also have someone else. So here we go. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Hello. How are y'all?
Doing good, buddy.
I'm helping.
Yeah, not too bad. I got ill. My missus got ill last weekend, and towards the end of last week, and she was really suffering for a few days. And I was sort of playing nurse, right? And on last Sunday night, I thought, geez, she started to feel better. I thought, I've escaped it. I managed to escape it, but no, it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Sometimes green candles make you a little sick.
Yeah. Hey guys, what a week of updates we've just had, huh? We've got so many new things happening, right? Jacob has been like an absolute crazy man with the wiki, right? We've got a lot of new updates with the wiki, and it's announced that we're going on to Solana and Base.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild.
I think that's absolutely crazy.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not, because it's like PlayStation and Xbox. Like the mechanics of the game, and if actually these smart contracts are written correctly to be component based, then it's just a little bit of massage, right? A PlayStation is not an Xbox from hardware and all the rest of it. I could tell you crazy stories about how things export when you go through CERT, but 99.9% of it is there at CERT. So it's just doing a little bit of massaging. But I do think, again, GameFi is one of the critical components going into the future that will really give crypto beyond purpose of looking at a 5-minute chart and then to the future of SocialFi. And the more that we bring communities together, we're actually binding so much more together. And then, on our gift tech side, that was one of our huge pillars, is always be bringing things together into a core component of a whole. And that's what this opportunity of storytelling, this opportunity to play and earn, this opportunity to be a merry band of misfits with people. Hex would have never taken off without COVID. Everyone being at home, everyone actually not going anywhere, watching people on webcams, actually communicating through a computer, that gave an opportunity and an avenue to grow into what our community as Hexkins and Pulsekins and everything else came to be. And so those opportunities to branch out and bring other people together into under one mythos and mindset, I think it's always a very strong concept. And that's why an IP is the most important part, but the execution is the fatal flaw that actually delivers the finish line. So, it's very interesting how all these things dovetail together.
Hey, Colt, have you heard any timeline on when they might start the Solana and Base?
No, and me speculating on things of that nature. It wouldn't theoretically alter the development. The only change is, let's call them buckets that start to get their vaults in order. But then they actually would be in the preconceived notion that when the game is live and we're out of EA, having the vault at its critical mass will be the start of the game. And then, we also have the benefit of, as he's going through EA, as the game design document, or what you would call a wiki, is being fleshed out and things are being massaged, you're not going to have that waylaid time. So like as the whole process goes forward with the whole component of the IP and the fleshed out design of the system, actually massaging the smart contracts for like very experienced developers, it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to basically call it a port, right? That's what you're doing, is you're porting it to something else. The finding the fun is the most important and the hardest part, and actually getting it through the doors, which we call ship it. So getting it shipped and having it be fun, those are the critical components. Porting it to a different platform isn't the hardest thing. Yes, it does require legwork, but everything does. But yeah, no, it's globally a line share as a whole, and I think this IP has that potential. That's from the very beginning when I started to stream with you, or when I started to talk in the very first days of Mafia, I said this can actually work. Like, there's a lot of people that have pie in the sky ideas of what they think they want to do, and then there's what's actually achievable, and then scalable and expandable. Like, all those are very important things to consider while you're going through the process of creation to completion.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know the base is EVM, right? So that's easy, basically, all exactly the same smart contracts. The sticking issue I thought for a while was going to be Solana, right? Because Solana has a completely different language, right? It uses Rust. But I know that Jacob said this. I think he said that Neon Studios have developed a port, so you can literally just build immediately and pass it across.
Sure.
So I know that's the thing for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, an example of that is taking, let's just say, something that's installed on Steam, your computer, but yet you have a Steam Deck, right? That's actually taking the install files and all the rest of that from your computer-based module and projecting it onto, a playable handset that's wrapping all the major components together. So it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely going to be interesting to see. And if we thought the problems with pulse chain transactions not going through, I wonder what's going to happen with the Solana side, because I have not.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, it's like it breaks like 60% of the time.
So let's see who we got in the chat. I see Archie is in there, my dear friend in Pulse Nation. We got Superman as well.
Archie's saying Wuhan flu. No, I don't think it's. I don't think it was the old COVID. Mafia for the win. Yes, indeed. Johnny, good morning, fellows. Crypto Furio, sup, mobsters, and hey, Crypto Kool-Aid's in the chat too.
Got to help with you out where you can.
Johnny's up early this morning. It's 5 in the morning for Johnny, so he's up early.
Oh yeah.
And join.
Guys, I have to share this. Right, I have to share this. Wait till you see this. This is a thing of beauty. Look at that chart. That's the BNB Mafia chart. Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's basically a 2x in a week.
Somebody's trying to collect the tokens.
Yeah, big time.
You have to give the Black Thistles a little bit of credit for that, because
for sure.
When that first big green candle started, that's right when they joined. So
what was that gentleman's name?
Richie.
Richie.
I invited Richie to be on with us as well, but he sent me a message about 20 minutes ago. He's not home yet, so he said he's going to give it a miss. But we will definitely be streaming it soon. We'll set up another one soon.
I think they're up to number 4 now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I can also check that. Oh my God! Sorry, guys. Oh, back down to number 5. Can you see that?
The flippening begins. The flippening begins. I remember when there was some flippening happening. Oh, that was a fun time.
Yeah, there was a few days where it was like swapping between like 5 and 6 with the Illuminati, and literally like the last few hours it went up to, they took over the Yakuza and back down again. But hey, it's fantastic stuff. Actually, I will tell you, I was talking to Richie today, and he's been speaking to one of his buddies, and one of his buddies is also going to open a family, hopefully
within
the next week.
So you get at that point over on
and I am speaking to some BNB influencers, and from the 4 that I'm going to be streaming with, we're setting up streams. One of them is definitely going to be opening a family also. So there's 2 new families coming to BNB.
That's good. That's good. Well, definitely. I'll be there to help you iterate and explain some different, at least complex or simple situations that really kind of push the ideals. Because when you're trying to explain something like this, the easiest way is to figure out what kind of game or what kind of play they understand. Because again, this is all about the art of play. And once you figure out how they play, how they think, what's the easiest way to correlate those things, then you start to doll up how these components again work together. Because it all is a multi-set of wheels or gears, if you will, that do push and pull and then create those sequences. And again, like all of this is team building. It's a really fantastic experiment in team building that also pays you, that also entertains you, that also isn't distracting you by, oh my God, it could be losing money. Instead, you just grow with the experience and expand upon it.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It's really going the right way. And to be perfectly honest, I think that in an ideal world, I think that Jacob would like to launch on the other chains at the same time. So when we actually launch, it would be good to have it on the other chains. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, obviously.
Well, I mean, again, I don't want to ever pinch him into a corner by giving speculation, but I could see MAP taking up to December. It could even take longer. It depends on like how complex you want to do it. And there's still the other things that I'd like to see. I know it'll be there eventually because I know what's going to eventually cross the finish line. You know, a car has a particular amount of parts. The kind of paint that on it is different, or the kind of interior is different. But there's major components in a vehicle to have it fluidly run. But I wouldn't think that he would waylay the launch with the tooling and the toothing of the port comparatively to taking the time to massage out another really good component while the port is happening, right? Because that's really the hard thing, is getting, again, back to the game, not the wrapper that it's played upon, right? The board in system design between checkers and chess is the same. It's the mechanics that utilize the board is the most important part. So laying out those foundations, I don't see as being an issue. And with the complexity of this game, I mean, the milestones are being hit in stride. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how long it takes to actually do this. But then looking back and actually getting across the finish line is always the most important part. So I can see them being released in tandem.
Yeah, yeah. We had a comment here from Johnny. He said MAFIA on base is okay because it's an L2, obviously Ethereum, but Solana is a chain which is not reliable and full of problems. He said he'd prefer something like Chain.
I've never heard of Chain, but I just think of a Tauntaun, and then after that I think of Chewy, or the Wookiee, and then we have a shaved Chihuahua again. It's just how my brain works.
Well, Chain is the Telegram chain, right?
The Telegram chain. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It would be beneficial for sure.
Well, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I said that would be interesting, considering the fact that how heavy crypto is actually in Telegram. But to be fair, I have not played around in the other playgrounds. Sometimes you only have so many hours in the day. You got to
exactly. Hey, well, this is. I don't think any of us can afford to say that we're maxis anymore. Really, if we're going to start playing this game and all these changes.
The only thing you want to be a maxi in is mechanics, or how systems really, really work. Like for example, I'm a Richard Hart idealist because you learn from the situations and grow. Doesn't mean I have to agree with them, but I do listen to people and take a digesting of what they are saying because I respect the method, the mythos, and the man. But it doesn't mean I have to blindly follow anyone. But mechanics are law, just like code is law. Situational realities of humanity is law. They can be manipulated, of course, but I think that's the bigger importance between people that want to fight over what is right or maximalism in anything. They're kind of viewing too much on what their opinion is through the lens of where they're looking, and not what core components are you could to elevate your opinion, right? And that's how you learn to play a game better, is by losing. You don't win a game and then suddenly continue to win and not get better. You always have to raise the bar in how you're thinking and approaching, and having those use case and view frustrations that you're continuously polishing and dialing in.
So tell me then. So obviously we haven't streamed in a while because you've been away and you've been working and you've moved apartment and all this fun stuff. And now you've got Pulsar, right? Pulsar launched.
Oh, that Pulsar's launched, but we're in the throes of getting the bridging of the smart contracts that GIF is building something wild and crazy. But it's the last little bit that he's heads down on right now. So we're almost there. But I did get my camera to work, so I do have the spaceship. So we are good to go. Because now on the
it looks nice.
Yeah, that's right. The view is not so bad. But yeah, I have to be prepped to get on the Pulsar streams, and obviously I love being here with you guys. But yeah, things are good. Things are good. Just always busy and always something. We just hit milestone at work for a big release that I had to do, and then work's flying all of us out to Oregon to do a all-in-person vacation. They treat us to some night twice a year. The place I work at really treats us well, but most of the industry is not friendly. not friendly at all. Yeah, no, it's been good. Really good.
Good. What's going on with the gearheads? Any updates?
No.
You guys have obviously you guys have been busy and you've been kind of quiet.
To be honest, we've always been quiet. I mean, I'm the loud one, but I'm not really trumping the gearheads to do everything, right? I talk to every family. I talk to everyone on every chain, because it's not really about just what I want to do or my family, because there's so much more to this whole project. But what I would like to see once, GIF releases Pulsar, we get a little bit of a breather time. I get done doing those type of stores is start to get more user-generated content type stuff like we were doing before. Now, granted, we kind of need the game to really be running to be archiving those particular things like oh, Richie's family won the Bullet Factory, right? And like that could be a fun video to make. Or Lucky won a roulette table, so apparently the hunt is on for the Lucky's casino. You know, those things would be really cool to start to get into user-generated content. And you know, I try to poke Beaker Archie with his videos that he's doing. He's doing a fantastic job. Like he is really, yeah. I mean, technically, you're a cheater. Let me find something. You're a cheater, Archie. You didn't have to do all these things into a computer. But the content and all the rest, that's fantastic. And that's really good, because as the community builds its own marketing wing or marketing momentum, when you're excited about something, other people get excited, right? You build that fire of, I want to do this, I want to learn this, and I want to share it, whether that's Hex or a game or knowledge or a movie, a walk in the park. When you bring that value to someone, the value stays binded between those two people. So just like that value can be binded between multiple chains. Like it's going to be interesting. So another thing about multiple chains is, could characters move in between multiple different metaverses of areas? That would be a very interesting expansion on how all those things will happen. So yeah, the future is very bright as we run up to Christmas.
Yeah,
oh,
shout
indeed,
out to Archie
indeed.
for the MAFIA HQ. That's a great website that really I think helps people understand.
Yeah, and I'd love to eventually be helping him with all that as well. He's taking the spearhead right now, and I know how hard that is. So it's always good to have someone else to tag in and tag out. That's got a eye for the craft of advert, engagement, click-throughs, and retention. So yeah, the MAFIA HQ has been really well done. I love the social engagements. But that stuff takes a long time. I assure you it takes a long time, just even managing the damn Telegram. So with all the gift tech projects, we have 5 launch projects. And it was usually me, being the talky person that I am, either on the streams or answering the stuff in the Telegram. And you get fatigue with all the rest of that, and it will eat you after a while. So you got to take your time, you got to take your breaks, and get other people to help ease the load. One wheel is worth nothing. Once you have 4 wheels, you can actually do something with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Johnny came in with another message here. He said, look about reliable blockchains. Tonchain has 10 million transactions per second. Wow. Also, I look into the user base, right, which is 1 billion users, because, I mean, it's Telegram, compared to other chains, which have a lot less. That makes sense. And we say just on board 0.1, and we have 100K users. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Tonchain. I mean, I've seen a bunch of people talking about it. I like the fact that it sits in Telegram, right? You can do lots of stuff through Telegram itself. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense moving forward. Like, we know already, like, Jacob has always been thinking, like, being chain agnostic, if you like, because of the casino projects, right? The casino projects are always meant to be multi-chain. Right. and the plan, I think the plan was going to be to this year maybe launch onto Arbitrum or Radix. But then the decision was made to rebrand everything as on-chain, right? On-chain.bet.
On-chain.bet, right?
Yeah, on-chain.bet. And then literally we can, go to whatever chains, any chains we want. And you'll be able to literally play games through the site on any chain, right? So I imagine, I mean, it's the same principle really, to do the same thing with MAFIA, right? So as MAFIA starts to go and do its thing, it would be great to be able to link up all these different blockchains, so you can play one chain against another,
Well, and that's the one difference with MAFIA is achievable to do that, because it doesn't have a GPU rendering engine. You're not dealing with AI as in like artificial intelligence, but like how characters walk and collision and the intricacies of more complex AAA games. But since this starts as more of a top-down experience, and now it's growing into more of a city builder-based experience, and even like being a mayor or caretaker of a city, so gentrification of a city can be correlated. Now we could see, different universes where things expand on this, right? The idea of a gangster is one archetype. Of another archetype could be like a gunslinger, or a pirate. It's all of like what the arc of the rogue character is. You know, gangsters are rogues essentially. And so what do those Scruffy Pete, or was the Star Wars from Scruffy Motherfucker or whatever the hell it was? What do those people do with their stories? Because that's really what you're doing, is you're selling. You know, again, it's not just one life. It's called a roguelike, and with a roguelike, you have to have tenement to make sure that you don't misstep, because you only have one real life in the video game of life. So, yeah, it would be cool to see how multiple different chains would either work together or compete, or yeah, well, it's going to be really interesting to just see BNB and Pulse Chain against each other. Now, here's an interesting question: is obviously he didn't do Ethereum because obviously the transactions are so expensive on Ethereum, but that has the largest gate for people. You know, it's a very interesting use case on what people have done that has been successful. If you look at like Illuvium or Axis Infinity, yeah, I think both of them are on ETH. I never touched GameFi before this because I looked at it. I mean, like, yeah, I can make something better, or it's not going to be achievable, like Midnight Society or any of the rest of that. And I don't even think it looks fun. But this right here, it does lean to that RPG sense of building a character, building an experience, and building your own story, as long as you can, you know, maintain ahead of the troubles and the trauma.
What do you think? Because Kula, we haven't spoken about this, but what do you think now about with these land tiles and the fact that now you can build your way up to actually become like a city developer, if you like? That was something. Excuse me. That was something that we kind of touched on, I think, before we stopped streaming about a month ago.
Yeah, and I've talked about it a couple of different ways because it just made sense to me on how because essentially I can look at how components are being laid out and why and what I would do in that situation and have a logical conclusion of where that river would flow, if you will. The city building side, I think, is actually going to be even more of a component than most of the game itself, because now the primary focus is, let's call it Monopoly for the most simplest way to consider what it is. Monopoly can eventually expand into SimCity, Civilization, all the rest of that. But how, well, I mean, I'll just blatantly say it. How the map looks from a top-down point of view. I'm not talking about the pretty little graphics and nature and components that shape the routing of the entire system. So roads, circulation, all the rest of that. Just how you pick the tiles is going to vary greatly and could, and I'm just going to be blunt here, be a very bad situation for the game if that's not handled properly. It is the most important component: turn, movement, action, and in socket, which is what your character does of those top three in the space that it lives. So if, let's just say, you have to roll through 17,000 tiles to get one, and it's not correlated to some kind of angle that you can, choose a set of colors and then from there pick a straw, it's going to make the game either very, very difficult or successful, or very, very successful based on those type of experiences, right? Because if you have to nest two different tiles together and you can't draw those two marbles and you have to pay for it, well, that's a very bad game design decision. So, those things really need to be fleshed out and thought out and taken back to the drawing board if it's not actually cohesive and fluid. Because when mechanics don't work, everything else breaks down around them. When everything is fluid, you have gravity moving it forward. But I think that's going to be the first thing, is I want to see how the nesting of tiles work together. I want to see how districts work, but ideally they're going to be, because obviously he's looking at roads, he's looking at parks, he's looking at rivers. So it's going to make sense. It's going to have some kind of, I think, tactic of history For example, I don't know, St. Louis, you have the Arch. You have the different major iconic landmarks that you would have in a particular region. But yeah, how you would get those tiles and what is your chance to roll based on faction is a big thing. There's also the thing is that if your tile cannot be taken when you die, so if it's burned, is that tile dead forever? So now it's a
no. It resets. It just resets. Someone else can buy it straight away.
They can buy it, or they have to roll it.
Oh, man, they have to roll. They have to get it the same way you got it.
Yeah,
right.
So it goes back in the system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yes, how you're choosing your marbles is a very important thing to consider, because then those go back into the turn, movement, action, because you have to get somewhere. Yes, you can have a car, but saying you have a car is different than driving a car, right? Just because you can turn on a vehicle doesn't mean you can operate it in all weather conditions or different types of vehicles. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. But I think those are the major components: is how you can divvy up those cards. Well, think about it like a Magic the Gathering game, right? Let's just try to figure out another game we can compare it to. Well, you make a deck. Now, you don't know what cards you're going to get out of that deck, but that deck is themed, right? It's not just every color of every card smashed into one thing. Yes, you could do that, but it wouldn't make for a cohesive game. Now, if you have a different styles of play in different decks or different colors or different themes, the card that you're going to get is within a random number or a random pull of a theme that works together. So, the first easier one is city. Like, can you at least pick your city that you're in? If you have, I don't know, let's just pull another card out. Let's say if you have honor points, can you favor a particular region that you would get? Because if I have honor points in a particular city, one would think I wouldn't randomly be in the slums, right? Or like if I'm at beef with a different area, or I've got, here's an interesting thought bubble. If I have an alliance with someone and we're both in the same city, can we interlock our tiles? Now, I know my tiles do help other ones, but let's just say I've got a bullet factory and I don't want to sell it. However, you maybe have, I don't know, 2 casinos that you don't want to sell and you have another family. If you make an alliance, could you divvy out the tiles? And then at that point, once you've made enough of a connection of snakes or a binding of islands, could you expand into the neighboring city from there? Because realistically, that's what you're talking about. When you're looking at cities, you're looking at localized regions this is from a game design point of view, like scope, scale, and form and faction, right? If you're in North America, you're in North America. So Vegas and New York, 75% bonuses on your businesses. But North America and Italy, 50% bonuses on your businesses. So if you fill out New York City, could you dovetail your city into Jersey? And would they be interconnected? Theoretically, if you're going that route, you could connect them with a road, a bridge, a train system, all the rest of that, especially if you're thinking thematically of, you can travel on a plane, jet, and a plane, train, and an automobile. Okay, that makes sense. So then you would be able to grow your city larger than that. And that's how civilization does it, is you have your little hex tiles and you build them out. And as the economy grows, city grows. And you get to pick a little tile or it just automatically grows for you. So that could be another variant on that type of stuff. So as the city grows and there's more tiles, it could expand on itself. And again, that's why thinking about things in real games or in real life as the components make them more natural when you're trying to expand or talk to someone like that. If you're, you got a farm and, there's a neighboring field over there, when you have enough manpower, horses or vegetables to plant, then you expand to that farm and you take over that rape of value as long as you have the manpower to work the said field. So Yeah, just different things that you think about as it comes down the line. But until I see those, it's all just pure speculation. I haven't even worried about anything like that because those are the major things that are going to dictate whether you move your family's city to a different HQ. If you can do that based on upgrading your hotel to the master HQ, well then could you have multiple HQs? Or is that a viable thing? So then you could be pulling your points based on the land tiles instead of the little checkbox that says mark your race or region or whatever on some kind of sheet when you're filling out an application, right? Because that's what we did in the beginning. We filled out a little bubble sheet. None of the rest of that was fleshed out enough to be released, or maybe it wasn't even fleshed out that much for the team at that point. It was, a concept of a dream, a concept of an idea. But now that we've fleshed through the other stuff, could you have multiple dead drop locations, right? So we'll see. We are technically the United States, but each state is theoretically a separate HQ, has its own capital, has its own government, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see.
I think the map is pretty much going to
dictate everything.
Change the whole dynamic of family worth and everything like that. It's going to be interesting to see, how, the hotels and businesses and all that you build, how that affects your family worth. Because you really think about it, I mean, the whole hierarchy could just be flipped in a day or so, depending on if people get lucky with their land tiles and have enough in-game cash to build a lot of hotels and other things like that in their cities. They can really, if that affects the family worth, that could really give them a huge boost.
Well, it's also the reason why the land tiles and all the rest of that disappear when you die. It's so people that get early access to the game and have a wedge in being there early could be undone. Like there is a way to undo them. And I even said it earlier when we first started streaming, Cole, is that what about natural disasters? Or, again, it's environmental encounters at that point on how the city itself has a random encounter, whether that's a detriment of a hurricane or a boon of, wealth of rain and the fields are full of food and everybody's happy-go-lucky. I mean, it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom on how things push in a direction.
So we have a question here from Johnny. Question to Kool-Aid: if MAFIA will be deployed on multiple chains, what impact will it have in economic energy? What is your opinion, and which chain would you like to see added?
So this is where you have an issue of a cart before the horse, with a problem that you haven't seen how the machination is going to play out. Now, being the fact that chains have their own people that exist on it, like I'm not going to go play in Ethereum for the most part, right? Then BNB, at least it's fast, cheap, all the rest of that. I really wouldn't want to play on, let's say, Solana breaks all the damn time. Wouldn't be my ideal situation. And that's why, I may own some BNB Mafia. I may spin up a character, but I'll most likely hedge and stay on Pulse Chain. Now, does that mean I won't play on BNB? No. Does that also mean I won't help and teach people on BNB? No. It just means that my weight already exists in a particular region. Like, for example, I don't like the heat. I like the cold. But that doesn't mean I won't not live, where it's hot. So one thing I think that will happen is one primary chain will set the fire on people who realize what separates this idea of a proper play and earn model. And again, that's something that we also want to be considered is if it moves too much to a pay to win model, then that gets very, very dangerous. And it's not just chain agnostic. It's just who has the money, who has the time and all the rest of that to get it done and all the rest. But what I would love to see is multiple people's chains possibly have different skins, right? So let's just say It wouldn't be the hardest thing if the game was finished and the map was done. Yes, it would take some work to have an Asian mod or an Asian samurai version of the game or something similar, right? You don't have to go all crazy and change the whole thing, but you could reskin it a little bit. So that way a different chain would have a different flavor. Not really a full different taste, but a different flavor. And it could alter and shift. And that's the one thing about living in here's the thing. It's like I also work for a live service game. So right now I do early access. I'm in EA, but my game lives forever. It never breaks. There's no ship it. It's always on. And so when you deal with live service, the game always has to evolve. And it's something is always breaking. Something is always being built. Something is always in the pipe. And so you could do that with different chains to make them more unique as they go. So as the game evolves on different chains, and if we're looking at a game that could have multiple years of longevity to get up to that premium location, it would give him the time. Hell, he could reach out to me and I can, help do it, or go get us some game devs to get the proper people to reskin that back end to change, a little bit of texture, a little bit of model difference. And the game essentially is the same except the map.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, now are you mapping a city topographically to what real New York is? That's cool. But is that really the necessary thing to make something fun? If you look at any random RPG or something, or let's just say against StarCraft, you can play the same map over and over and over again. But when you play something that has a random world generator, it's a new experience each time. So it'd be cool to see if the chains varied in how not just they were played, but how they're themed based on what happens in the real world. Again, that's a huge ask. That is not something that is very far DLC.
Yeah, and it could even be different time periods too, Kool-Aid. That's what I was thinking, because I know Jacob has said this is kind of 20s and 30s kind of base. What if you had a more modern Mafia?
20s and 30s, however, they have Molotov cocktails, which isn't the craziest thing, but they also have Humvees. There's a 1920s Prohibition Humvee.
That's right. Yeah. So there's all kinds of possibilities, though. That's what makes it kind of fun.
Sure. Yeah. And there's also the as a designer, sometimes you can pigeonhole yourself pretty easily and pretty heavily and unintentionally. So for example, just to assume that you're in South America, that's where the good Coke is. Sure, thematically. But that doesn't mean that resource can't be harvested anywhere. When that resource is more random, it actually gives more of a richness to the actual player experience, because you already know, well, if I want the cheap Coke, I got to go start my family in Bogota, and then everyone's fighting for Bogota. Or, let's just say Italy makes the best wine and there's prohibition. So you get your wine from Italy, because clearly nobody in South America drinks alcohol. They only do hard blow. So yeah, it's different on what the thematics is and what's in real life, or just what's more interesting in a random experience. I think there's more richness to the random experience, or at least allowing it to be more fluid, because it's never random. And that's what I've always said. Some dumbass like me has to go build everything in fake reality. There is no free lunch in game dev. There's no free anything. You literally have to build it all. But there are ways that you can make it more simulated, that gives a little more of a different play. And that's also what I would consider with random tiles that burn out and then get recycled. If they get recycled, it was always, if I had a hotel in a urban upscale area and I die, does that mean that tile can never be a slum? Does that tile can never be an environmental piece or a business location or something of that nature? So there's the question is am I playing the game Risk, right? That Russia is always where Russia lives and America is always where America is. And, Florida always looks like a dick. So at the end of the day, there's a hard map. And then there's what's the experience of the time that you're on the game board.
All right, you touched on the tiles, right? The fact that if your character dies, the tile gets reset. We saw that one of the updates on the wiki was the kill distribution list.
Yeah, and so they took away all the cards, freeing 100%. So I like that was a nice little gimme that you could have.
Yeah, he kind of ruined your card theory there, didn't he?
Well, I mean, I also kind of mentioned it half the time, and I'm talking out loud, and whether people that listen to it or not hear it, it's a sanity check, and having a conversation appears. Like that's always an important thing. Like, I never want to influence him on any of that. However, there is benefit to having a dialogue of sanity checks with other like-minded thinkers or like-minded experiences. Like someone that does masonry in one part of the world probably would like a woodworker on a different part of the world, right? How are they working with their hands? So with the, let me go ahead and pull the wiki up myself as well.
Yeah, so we can see here, right? So at the time of your death, so in your testimonial, for example, so in your testimonial, basically you can will items to another character. Right. So,
yeah, but there were more that you could will to your other character, because the old testimonial was you could only do 50% of your bank and your cars.
Yeah, and now you can do your helper credits and your notification credits.
Bam, go away. And then what is it? MAFIA NFTs, or what is it? I'm not really sure what they're correlating. That. Ooh. But let me find it.
Shop items.
Well, no, shop items go away to 100%.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're doing that is because that way people can't. It keeps the economy into more of an ecology that can be manicured, right? Because if somebody's a hoarder and they're hoarding everything in the world, and someone kills them, now everyone has everything in the world. Or you go the other way and it's Mad Max type stuff. So there is, excuse me, there is sense in that, but that's also something that is a balancing act in and of itself. So that item management and gameplay management are very important things. And you also have the other side of it is that you have, if the game gets boring or has a hump where you're not moving in more of a positive direction, you almost get a hurdle too. So you want to get that perfect amount of uphill and downhill. It's fun. It's a challenge. It's fun and easy. It's a challenge, because if it's all one or all the other, it doesn't become organic.
KvltDeFi bodyguards on there? I didn't.
Bodyguards go back to the protocol, 100%.
Pretty much almost anything but the helper credits, the nutty credits, and
the cars.
Half cash and half cars. The hard thing is that unless he's running machinations and multiple different simulations on this running in real time, which possibly happened, some of this stuff you just don't fucking know. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, half the things that I do, I've got to come up out of my ass and be like, I hope you work. And I wish on a fucking prayer every damn time. Where in the world kill distribution? Yeah, there we go. So the only thing that you really would correlate to anything is going to be your business items, because a game OG technically is, if you have it unwrapped, it does not go away, right? Anything that's on the right side of your screen technically isn't in your inventory, because you have wrapped keys that hang out over there. You've got your MAFIA staked and liquid that hang out on that side. What else is hiding over there? Look, OG NFTs, and then if
There's
you look
a
at the
space for bullets and health over there.
So yes, those are gonna be those are tokened items. So who knows? Because at that point, the left hand, I mean, it says it right there, wallet inventory and game inventory. So at least my gut is usually almost in the right direction. So anything on the left hand side is in the game wrapped, or if you want to call it unwrapped, right? The wallet inventory is wrapped assets that you, so for example, let's just say you have your bullets on your game inventory. If it's moving in a fluid direction, you would click on your bullets and then tokenize them if you wanted to sell them. That doesn't mean those bullets that you would be selling are in your gun, in your clip, ready to go pew, pew, pew. So there are going to be two different versions. One's going to be what would be used to attack and defend, and one is going to be used for a method of currency that you would then again in socket into the game. And that's where that socket thing comes into play, is how am I taking this resource and like equipment, like actually putting it on? I remember the first time we streamed, I'm like, well, can you wear a bulletproof suit inside a bulletproof vest, inside a bulletproof car? So, I mean, like, how much rabbit holing do you want to do?
What sort of plans do the OGs have for the land tiles that are coming up, Bob?
Well, we've been hoarding keys like crazy, so we've got keys hoarded away. It's going to be interesting to see exactly kind of how it's going to work. That's, because we've got multiple cities. Of course, Las Vegas is our kind of key city. But the problem is we're not going to be able to keep all of our assets hoarded together like we've got them right now in Las Vegas. We're going to have to spread those out to our other cities. So the question is, once we get everything spread out to all other cities, what city now becomes our most valuable? And do we concentrate our land tiles in that most valuable city, or do we keep them in Las Vegas? And so that's where, we're trying to get as many business assets as we can so that we know exactly what we've got in what cities. And so that's been our major priority right now, is to try to acquire as many business assets in our cities as we can get. And we just got the bullet factory in Las Vegas today. So,
oh yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you got one now. The thistles.
Yeah, the thistles got
Medellin.
The Medellin bullet factory, and since
hang on, didn't they have two?
They did. They had Las Vegas, and then they got Medellin.
That's right. Okay, so they sold it to you. Nice.
What happened was you can only keep one, and so since
that is incorrect.
Well, you can only use one in the city. So
that is incorrect as well, because each bullet factory is going to be tied to a different city. So each city has its own anchor for those. So if you have multiple bullet factories, they're keyed to different cities. The real question is, are you regional to that city? Are you on a different continent to that city, or do you live in that city?
100% in that city is what I guess
Sure.
I'm trying to say. And so since the Las Vegas was only going to get them 50%, whereas the Medellin is going to get them 75%, they kept the 75%, and we negotiated to get the Vegas one. So that's where that worked. So
sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of gameplay, and like I said, depending on what the tiles do, that's going to greatly affect. I mean, if you can pull some lucky tiles, with some hotels, then your least valuable city could soon become your most valuable city. So,
well, I don't think you're going to ever pull a tile with a hotel. Now, granted, it's in a living game, or a live game. But
yeah.
You're in the boot for Monopoly, and you randomly come across a red hotel on the side of the road and be like, "You're mine now."
And you can bring that up, Colt. But it looked like when it was talking about the random number generators, you pick your city, and then the first one tells you what region of the city, and then the second one tells you what development on the tile there is. And so, you can kind of interpret that in different ways, but the way I interpret it is you pick Las Vegas, you get the elite part of town, and then you make it a hotel, because those are the 3 different things that you can pick according to the wiki. And again, that could change tomorrow, but the way it's worded in the wiki right now, yeah, you can see select what city you want to claim the land in, and then you spend a key to open the land crate. The first random number decides which of the spots you get, and then the second decides what developmental stage you will start.
Yeah, so it's developmental stage, yeah, because it does say down here. Where does it say? Did it say
it's going to be 3? Well, it's going to be 3, right? So the first role is going to be: do you get a user tile, an infrastructure tile, an environment tile? Business tiles, clearly you have to have in the business to own that tile. If not, so that's where you can make a game as complex as Baldur's Gate 3.
Very lucky users might get a hotel on a map update day 1, and so that's what I was reading. Because, like I said, what if you get a hotel in the elite part of town, on a draw? And Jacob said that would be a bullet factory, pretty much. That would be the same value, basically. So, there's a whole new set of worth that you're going to be able to add to your families.
Well, it's not worth is a good word, but it's more or less weight in different directions, right? Counterpoints, anchor points, right? Because that's essentially what they are. Intrinsically in nature. I'd be curious, do they have to touch? If they didn't touch, what variant would they have? And then the other interesting thought bubble is like, let's just say, let's just say for dumb reasons, I have a sister city and we both live in the same city. You wouldn't want to do this, or you could do this just to keep the numbers down, so that way you didn't have to have so many interconnected tiles for the amount of people. However, theoretically, the resources that were in that city are still in that city. You have the same family. Now you are fighting for the vaults on a different way, but also remember that your city running well, if you're a mayor, you have a bunch of tiles, your lawn is, the HOA is happy on your tile, then you're getting yield from the economy of the city itself there. So you can use that to get your pulse or your MAFIA tokens.
One thing I was going to ask y'all's opinion on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kool-Aid. The businesses, are they going to come with their own tile?
Yes.
And if so, are they going to be pre-placed?
Yes, they are.
So every bullet factory is going to be in the same location in every city?
No, every city is going to be different.
Okay.
Yeah, every city is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, then you could also have it
if you want to link your headquarters to your bullet factory, then you're going to have to acquire the tile next to your bullet factory to build your headquarters on.
Well, and this is where the speculation, like, I mean, of course I can talk about this for hours and speculate, but I really just need to see it for like 15 seconds. And then I can tell you the answers of the 7 different options I have in my head on how I would approach it. Like a bad way to approach it, a good way to approach it. Trying to fix a bad decision early is usually what my job is. So, we just have to see how, again, the components are rolled and what your options are to re-roll them.
That's what I'm thinking. We need to have a city developers meeting before people start laying things out, so that we optimize how we're going to do this. Because
that's also a different one right there. It's like the job of being a developer could be as hoity-toity as being like let's just, for a random term out of a hat, a union leader, right? For a rank and file, like what you do. But usually a union leader, if you go back to like 20s, 30s, 40s, they knew the people in the neighborhood, right? They were people that were either corrupt, they used, the mob or organized crime or bribery, or the politician side of the same coin, or they were, a person of the people. So that all those depend on how all those things will nest together. So it could be any variant of it. But what I would say is that if you make it too difficult for you to ever get a winning numbers that make sense, the game gets too complex. It's like playing an old game of Risk. You played that for like 30 hours and you still don't finish, half the game. So you got to make sure that it is fluid. But I think the reason that he is formulating these things is so it has longevity. You can do both, right? You can expand to have longevity, but in the beginning, if people are frustrated, it's not fun, right? And you got to get that first thing is find the fun. Like if I couldn't go out, let's just say, think about it in the real world. If I couldn't go out with a lawnmower and earn money to go get me a key that didn't become that difficult, then the keys are useful to be used. If they're so either expensive, pay to win, that the normal common user, the normal casual player can't advance, that's a hard gate on their sense of disbelief and why this world is fun, right? It turns into work. And once you do something at work, it's no longer a game, it's a job. And that's really the difference between the two.
Yeah, that's the challenge I see for Jacob is keeping the complexities, but making it to where it flows smoothly.
I assure you, it's a very hard job. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. It is a nightmare to do. I mean, we had this problem on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It's a huge pen and paper game, and it has a lot of history, like over 30 years of history, and try to adapt that into kind of like a first-person-y experience. We did not do it well. And that was not my fault in the slightest. The architecture was fucking on point. But the game designer just wouldn't listen and wouldn't make alterations to make it fun, even if it wasn't 100% thematic to what the pen and paper game was or what he saw in his head. You have to look at how these things connect together and, massage the opportunities that allow people to be engaged, right? People spend more time playing Candy Crush than something like Civilization, Baldur's Gate 3, SimCity, any more strategy-based game. They want something to zone out to. That doesn't mean Mafia is a game that you could zone out to because you can get killed or, get arrested or all the rest. But that's where, if it's too hard, people don't get engrossed and they can't get past the tutorial. That's not a good experience. That's where actually the tutorial part of a game is the most annoying and important part of the game, because if they don't have a good experience going through there and they're bored, they're not going to want to continue. If it's too hard and they don't learn anything, they're going to die, and then they're not going to continue. So that's where that massage and variance of how do you get a player from a thief up to a local chief, like that journey should have particular plot points that you could map out. 10 hours here, 30 hours here, rough enough. You should be able to, garner enough XP, and, if you survive and, don't get hit by a car for stealing Lucky's roulette wheel, like those are big problems. That this is why game dev is hard, and it's not just a cookie cutter thing. Like a lot of people think crypto, you can just copy paste. Well, you can't. You can 100% copy paste. But a video game or an experience that you want to be timeless, memorable, and in depth can't really be copy pasted. It can be studied and then recreated, but you still have to go through that journey as the designer, as the craftsman. As the painter, you have to go through that process of mixing the paint and gesturing the entire project. I'm going to go real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, we just got an update, guys. Jacob just put an update into the Telegram. Basically, you can now sell your items if you go to just pick an item, go to sell, you can sell your item for in-game cash, as well as the native token and MAFIA. How awesome is that?
So wasn't that the same thing as though convert in the exchange?
Convert is to actually put your funds into the game. This is literally just on the marketplace. If you just want to sell one of your items, you can sell an item for cash.
It gives you a way to buy things with the cash. And that's the key to being able to acquire keys with in-game cash.
No, that is 100% corrected. What we have to do is see the correlation of, I forget who was pointing this out, and it was maybe Juju. It was if you look at the core, because the one thing that he's pigeonholed himself a little bit on is the $20 hard currency for a key. That means that everything correlated to a key by Hard's law is divided by that 20-to-1 ratio, and how
now it's going to be selected by the market now. Because if you put up a key, it's how much somebody's going to pay you in-game cash to get it.
Well, not in-game cash, in real cash. And then how is that correlated to the economy of the in-game cash? Because that's a hard known good, $20 key.
Right. But now is it going to be $1 million in-game cash for a key, or 2 million, or 5 million, or?
I mean, point. This is a lot of work. This is it, and also it's something that you
in a way your key is going to determine the value of your in-game cash, because whatever people pay for that key in in-game cash, that amount of cash is going to be worth $20.
Well, you also have to go the other way. How much work does it take to get the $20 worth of in-game cash to get a key? Right. Exactly. So like that is your time per hour or your clicks per hour to, go steal enough cars to acquire said key. I mean, if you go back to the correlation of mowing a lawn or something of that nature, if you can't do that small task to get enough that I can go to the next place to be, entertained there for a minute and go, kick a preschooler in the face and, all the rest of that type of stuff, because that's they want to be doing the interactive or the random encounters, doing gangster shit. But the juice has to be worth the squeeze. And that's going to eventually bind back into the ecology and the economy. But it is really neat that those are moving so quickly, because they will addendum down to each other. And is it under exchange or is that under market? You were looking at that.
No, that's on the marketplace. I literally just clicked one of my inventory items
if you go to sell,
post on the market.
I don't press the button that says sell because I am a smart person that I am waiting. I have no interest in worrying about I coulda, shoulda, woulda when I already know what the 4 or 5 outcomes could be. But I'm just going to wait to see which of the things actually happens. Though it was kind of funny in the beginning when cash wouldn't equal cash every now and then. But I mean, he was working in the kinks, so I mean, it's totally fair and fine. Well, apparently, I'm a day behind on the Player Plus. Everyone was yesterday. What if we had to pause the game? When do you use it? Let's find out. Let us find out.
So, Colt, I guess the other thing that I found that was very interesting was, and I confirmed it with Jacob, is just because your family loses its number of qualifying Player Plus players, you don't lose your alliance. Once you form your family alliance, that's good forever. So that's
great.
That's a big key, because I was kind of getting a little contested with Jacob, because I was like, so you're going to expect a family to burn 20 OG NFTs every 90 days to maintain their alliance? And I just thought, man, that's not the fairest thing in the world. But he did confirm that no, once you form your family alliance, you're set.
So so once you hit that bar,
right? So
that's perfect.
Even if your number of premium plus players drops below the 50%, your alliance won't dissolve. So that I thought that was a huge thing.
Yeah,
For the bigger families who've already formed their alliances, for sure.
Do you know what? I literally just posted that, showed that update that Jacob put on, that you can buy things for the in-game cash. Jacob actually put a game OG NFT up for 1 million in-game cash, and it looks like Crypto Furio, who is here in the chat, I think Crypto Furio snapped it up.
Yeah, I was going to try to watch the marketplace closely, because I was going to see if the Godfather was going to start putting some keys and OG NFTs up for in-game cash. So
yeah, well, he did.
Yeah.
He put one up, and it looks like Crypto Furio got it immediately. Yeah.
Shout out to Furio for watching that like a hawk.
Yeah, snapping it up. There he is. Look, he's in the chat.
Furio's
Perfect.
not
Hey,
stupid.
yeah, hey, that looks like a bit of a steal then, right? 1 million in-game cash.
That's what I figured it was going to be. I talked to several people, and we were trying to kind of ballpark it. What
Sort of ratio against something.
And so that was most of our guesses was 1 to 2 million in-game cash. So it'll be interesting to see where that settles. Hopefully there'll be more keys available, or OG NFTs.
Chris Fury says, I hope I just bought 2 OG NFTs for what one day would be $1 million.
Hey, there's still some bullet factories out there. You can get some bullet factories with those keys.
There are. How many business items are left on BNB?
According to my calculation, we've got the Chicago Bullet Factory, the New York Bullet Factory, the Caracas Bullet Factory, Detroit, and Bogota. And then I don't have a roulette for Las Vegas, Palermo, Messina, or Bogota. And so that would be 5 bullet factories and 4 roulettes. And I may be missing some roulettes. I try to keep.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the website, and it says there's 8 business items remaining.
Okay, so yeah, somebody got another roulette that I don't have up here yet. So, I didn't put Lucky's roulette up.
Oh yeah, Lucky got one today, didn't he?
Yeah, and that was in Chicago. So that may be. Yeah, he's got it up for auction on the marketplace, so you might want to go buy that one, Colt. Just so you have a
just so I have
so
one.
you have a business. Yeah, that's right.
I have a look at the market here, right? What is here, right? You've got game keys. Oh, so the Godfather's. Oh, you're right. Look, so the Godfather has a game key for $20 for in-game cash.
All right.
$20 in-game cash for a key, and then he has another one for 100. Oh, Jacob is just throwing things out there.
Now you're going to make me get on here and buy some stuff.
Yeah, I can see here that the roulette table in Caracas is up for sale. Detective agency in New York. Jesus, Escargot has a bunch of stuff, doesn't he? Slot machine in Napoli. Roulette in Detroit is up for sale.
Yeah, there's quite a few things for sale.
Who just bought that? It's literally just disappeared in front of my eyes. The game key for $20.
I'm trying to buy it. I don't know if it went through for me or not.
I'm trying to buy my MetaMask. It's slow.
Johnny came back for my cigarette and I had to go buy it.
Johnny's saying he just got it for $10.
Let me see if I was able to get it. I didn't get it. So the one I tried for, I was too late on. So. Yeah, that's going to cause a scramble on those for sure.
Oh, big time, big time. I should have kept my mouth shut. I should have been quiet.
That's right. Don't announce that for everybody now.
Ryan M just said it. I got both. The one for 20, the one for 10.
Yeah,
or I think there's one for 100. Well, hey, I'm pretty sure there's going to be many, many more. Jacob likes to do that.
Yeah, I think they're all gone now that I can see. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll have to watch that tonight and see what else he puts up there.
I see Capo Kool-Aid just upgraded to Player Plus.
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting thing now is how important is Player Plus besides just getting the keys?
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, you don't have to have it for your alliance now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus, this is really moving on. It's the thing is, it's every day. There's so many notifications. Like really, the last week, the last 10 days, the updates are just coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, we may have to get off and buy stuff with our in-game cash.
Wow. Yeah,
Oh,
Jacob's trying to throw a bunch of.
I got a game key for $7 of in-game cash.
Oh, I'm going after the same one right now. This very second.
Yeah, I just got it. I was trying to be quiet, so
yeah. Oh, I just missed it. Hey, but that's cool. Jacob keeps throwing those around.
Oh, there's another one. Yeah, this is going to be fun, guys.
This is already fun. Yeah, it is really. There's so much happening. Oh, I missed that. I missed another one.
Yeah, I missed that one too.
Okay, look, this is a sign. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I think we'll have to end this, and we'll catch up tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a good place to stop. Yeah.
All right, Kool-Aid. I know you are elsewhere. So, hey, listen, guys, thanks very much, everyone that's here. This is how exciting the game is. We're literally stopping the stream to try and take advantage of some of these market items, okay? To everyone watching, really thanks very much. Like, subscribe, notification bell. If you're watching us on X, definitely follow me. Definitely retweet this. Definitely follow PLS Mafia IO and go over into the Telegrams. Telegrams are along the bottom.
He's changed them all to auctions now.
Okay, well, that's fine too.
That's right. That's even better. Now they won't disappear as quick.
Yes, so like, subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff, guys. I will be back in a couple of days. We have really next week, we should have a bumper week actually for streams, and we've got some new people coming along, and we will have a couple more families on BNB. Stay tuned. Gentlemen, thanks very much for joining me. You really helped me out. I wouldn't have been able to do 120 minutes chatting away just myself.
Always got you, bud.
Yeah,
no worries.
Thanks for everything you did. Hope you keep feeling better.
I will. I'm on the mend. I'm on the mend.
You mean you're on whiskey?
I tell you what. I tell you what. That worked wonders. The thing is, I sweat through the sheets that night. The ginger really did its magic. Cool. All right, people. Thanks very much. Love you. Now, watch this.
If it were, it's an honor.
Got an anonymous tip, boss.
This is it. We stage the heist tonight.
And keep an eye on Kool-Aid.
He's been known to water the plants.
Let's keep the plants out of this and focus on the job.
All right, Johnny, I'm sorry. Keep the change, you filthy animal.